Welcome to Guthrie Sports Page Television. Chris Evans with the coach, Chris LeGrande, as the Blue Jays win it tonight 41-15 to open up district play. They are now 1-0. They extend the winning streak to 18 games and 4-0 on the season, but more importantly, 1-0 in district play as they get the big win over Durant. And coach, the Blue Jays were to the test early. Durant goes 82 yards on their opening drive over 4 minutes, but the Blue Jays respond early and often.
Yeah, very unusual for the Blue Jays to actually start a game behind. One of the few times, I think, dating back to the Carl Albert game of last year where they were actually behind in the football game. But like any good football team would do, they would responded punch per punch, so to speak, and were able to actually go down and counter it with a touchdown of their own. And from there, I tell you what, the Blue Jays poured it on offensively and was able to dominate this football game in just unforeseeable fashion.
And it was really a big story night for some numbers. Keaton Callens finished his night 15 of 18, 284 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, and he's our Huddle House Player of the Week. And Keaton deserves a lot of credit, but sure does that offensive line for allowing Keaton the time to throw, and then his receivers was just awesome here tonight.
I tell you what, the offensive line has improved each and every week, and Coach Mick mentioned that in his post-game interview that, hey, I'm really proud of these guys. They've come together. Dustin Bowman's doing a wonderful job at center. Stanton Stevenson is doing a great job. And I tell you what, just the support of each and every one of those guys as they get better each and every week. And I tell you, that has a lot to do with it because Keaton had plenty of time to throw the football tonight. And, you know, he can't do it by himself. Also, he had great performances by his 2 outstanding receivers, Kentrell Brothers, and, of course, the senior Dante Foster. And,
of course, Clayton Smith out of the game with the injury injury knee, and is out for a few more weeks, but replacing him tonight was J.P. Brunner. Had a fantastic game, finished the night with 22 carries for 95 yards, including a touchdown, and he ran exceptionally hard here tonight.
I tell you what, a lot of those yards were yards after contact, and I tell you, once he got hit, he was able to keep his feet moving and was able to really get that tough yardage. And I tell you what, we mentioned this on the radio, but you know, he's being the understudy of Clayton Smith, and Clayton Smith runs the ball as hard as anybody in the state of Oklahoma. And I tell you what, JP has picked up on that and carried that tradition and continues to carry that banner. And I tell you what, just like Coach Mick said, they are not hesitant at all to put him in the game and pick up tough yardage when needed.
And just going back to it, Coach, and they said the coach said in the post-game show on the radio show that this is the 4th different offensive line that they kind of mix and match, and this one proves to be the good one here tonight.
Absolutely, and Coach Mick and Coach Watkins and even Keaton said it. This was their best week of practice, and it came out and showed not only on the field but on the final results on the scoreboard tonight. And, you know, as long as they keep improving and getting better each and every week, these guys can really make some noise come playoff time. And like you said, very importantly, they're 1-0 in the district. Still, they extend their winning streak to 18 games. And, you know, more importantly than all of that, they've gotten better, they've improved. And, you know, hey, look for bigger and better things from these Blue Jays as the season progresses.
Durant Lions get 7 points within the first minutes and then only get one other score, but Durant finished tonight 224 yards of total offense. Max White, number 8, the do-it-all guy for the Durant Lions, a special player. He'll be playing professional baseball next season, but he's a great player, but the Blue Jay defense had an answer for him tonight.
Oh, absolutely, and I tell you what, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Coach Beefy and the defensive staff just mixed up the schemes. They started off in a 4-man front, and then they mixed it up to a 5-man front, but they were able to make adjustments until they found something that worked. And once they were able to make those adjustments and shut down White and contain him, especially off the edge with Kentrell and Skylar Smith having such pivotal roles, then that was able to funnel everything back into the middle, which Jaden Chappell had a monster game once again at linebacker. And so I tell you what, this defense continues to improve. Going into the season, they were a question mark, but they've gotten better, and I tell you, they've become one of the strengths of this Blue Jay team.
Jaden Chappell was named the Tyler Nichols Heart of a Champion Award in the postgame show as well on our radio broadcast. And Josh King, he can hit.
I tell you what, he had a hit tonight on one of the freshmen for Durant that was just unbelievable. It's welcome to high school football. And, you know, I tell you what, I don't think there's a bigger player or a big game player in the state of Oklahoma than Josh King. And when the lights come on Friday nights, he always finds a way to make a big play. And tonight, no exception, as he makes the hit of the year thus far.
And I'll take your metaphor there with the lights turn on. This Blue Jays, when the lights do come on in a big-time atmosphere, it was jam-packed Gillespie Stadium here on homecoming night. But when the lights come on in a big-time atmosphere, I want those Guthrie Blue Jays seniors on my team.
Oh, absolutely. These guys find a way to win, and the bigger the stage, the better they perform, and tonight was no exception to that. homecoming night, facing a very tough Durant game in the district opener. I tell you what, no bigger stage than tonight, and they performed at a very high level, and I'm sure the coaching staff is extremely pleased.
Big atmosphere again next week. Ardmore. If Ardmore defeats Noble, it'll be 4-0. So now you got two 4-0 teams next week in Ardmore. And Ardmore, last time they were here, first round of the playoffs, they got embarrassed 61-0. And you know the Ardmore Tigers have had this game circled, waiting for the Blue Jays to get off the bus.
Oh, I tell you what, this was going to be the biggest game of the year thus far, and I know we seem to say that each and every week, but definitely as they take their show on the road to a team led by one of the McBroom brothers, a great coach in the state of Oklahoma, was formerly at Ada. But I tell you, that's going to be a tough atmosphere. Ardmore more than likely will be undefeated, so you're going to have the battle of two 4-0 teams in Ardmore, Oklahoma. And I tell you what, that's a beautiful facility if you've never been down there. Big-time football in Oklahoma. You know, they produce the likes of Jermaine Gresham, who's currently at OU, but they have big-time talent, and the Blue Jays are going to have to be ready, and they're going to have to take their show on the road and perform at a high level if they expect to get out of there with the win next week.
Blue Jays win at 41-15 here on homecoming night. Coach, you going to the dance?
I don't think so.
I don't dance. I'm Baptist. A lot of young people don't know what that. You'll learn that later on. But more importantly, the Blue Jays win at 41-15. The Blue Jays extend that winning streak to 18 games, 4-0 in the season. More importantly, 1-0 in district play in a big game next week, Coach.
Absolutely. And like I said, I'm sure that the players and the coaches would more than welcome that caravan, a big Guthrie crowd, a following to Ardmore, Oklahoma, to support them, as they will need every bit of that enthusiasm and energy and excitement from the crowd as they take on a very tough Ardmore Tiger football team.
We invite you to Ardmore next week. The radio crew will be there. If you can't make the game, be sure to tune in to 105.1 or streaming live right here on GuthrieSportsPage.com. Coach, great job as always, and we'll head to Ardmore next week.
All right, we'll see you next week in Ardmore, Oklahoma.
For Coach LeGrande, I'm Chris Evans. Thank you for tuning in to Guthrie Sports Page Television.